Imagine an incident that took place in broad daylight on the main street of a crowded town in front of nearly 50 witnesses. The authorities know exactly who was there. The FBI investigated, and yet not a single person was ever charged. Why? Because the man who was taken out was considered so evil, the entire town silently agreed it had to happen. This brings us to Skidmore, Missouri in 1981. It's a quiet farming community, except for one resident, Ken McElroy. To call McElroy the town bully doesn't even scratch the surface. He was a tyrant. For decades, he ruled Skidmore through pure intimidation. He was involved in theft, arson, and predatory behavior. He faced nearly 20 indictments for serious felonies, including crimes involving minors, but he never spent time behind bars. He would intimidate witnesses, stalk jurors, and use legal loopholes to walk free every single time. The law simply could not touch him. So the breaking point came in 1980. McElroy got into an argument with the beloved 70-year-old town grocer, Bo Bowenkamp, over a piece of candy. A few days later, McElroy waited outside the store with a weapon and attacked the elderly man. Bo survived, but barely. McElroy was finally convicted for the attack, but then the unthinkable happened. He was released on bond pending an appeal. He returned to Skidmore immediately. McElroy walked into the local hangout with a blade attached to a rifle and bragged about what he'd done, threatening to finish the job. That is when the town realized that no one was coming to save them. So on the morning of July 10, 1981, the townspeople gathered at the Legion Hall. It wasn't a mob, it was a desperate community meeting. The sheriff suspiciously had driven out of town that morning. The men of Skidmore decided that they have had enough. They marched down the street to the tavern where McElroy was inside. Sensing the shift in the atmosphere, McElroy grabbed a six-pack and walked out to his Chevy pickup truck with his wife. He climbed inside, lit a cigarette, and looked out at the crowd of men staring right back at him. Suddenly, shots rang out from two different directions. McElroy was struck multiple times. It was over in the front seat. The silence that followed was deafening. When the ambulance arrived, no one offered help. When the authorities asked, "Who did this?" the answer was unanimous: "I didn't see a thing." Mind you, 46 people were present. Some claimed they were looking at their shoes, and others said the sun was in their eyes. So the FBI were called in. They interviewed everyone and convened a grand jury, but the wall of silence held. The town of Skidmore protected the individuals responsible because they believed those individuals had protected the town. To this day, the case remains officially unsolved. Ken McElroy is buried nearby, and legend has it that for years, his grave was never decorated with flowers, only the occasional empty can thrown by a passerby who remembered the Reign of Terror. It is a chilling example of what happens when the system fails, and a community who decides to take matters into their own hands.